Hey everyone, and welcome to Hooked on Needles and Crafts. Today I'm going to do another crochet kit from Five Below. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, I am doing a viewer request. This is Crochet Pooh. This was found in Five Below. If you want to do this kit, go check out your local Five Below or go on their website. I don't know why he has flowers on his head, but I guess I don't watch enough Winnie the Pooh to know. But we're going to do this today. So just to let you guys know, I am running a 2,000 subscriber giveaway. So if you are watching in this video, you have to be a public subscriber, and then you also need to leave let's say a honey emoji. Is there a honey emoji out here? Let me see. If not, you have to put down a bear. I always have to double check these things. So let me see if there's honey. Yep, there's honey. Alright, so leave a honey emoji in the comments below. Last day to enter is the end of July 4th. I will be picking a winner July 5th, and they will be receiving a whole bunch of kits. So I think it's going to be a real fun to do. But yeah, let's get started opening this box. Let me grab my scissor here under all of my stitch markers. Alright, this is a pretty spiffy box. I don't know what company is this. Oh, Innovative Designs LLC. Okay, so they're back for some more kits here. We've got some yellow yarn, stuffing, some more yarn, and the hook, the eyes, a sewing needle, some wire, and the instructional booklet. So due to copyright, I cannot show the details of the instructions. If you really want to make this kit, again, go to your local Five Below or check online on their website. They do have them there, and they do have other characters, by the way. This is their glossary, or their definitions page. It gives you all the abbreviations and what they mean, and then there's instructions on most of the stuff that they have here. It's double-sided. Go check that out. What my video does is teach you new stitches at least once. Three times, step by step. I check for any errors or typos. We assemble the whole thing together, and if there's any strange things happening, I will bring that up as well. So for now, I'm just going to put some of this stuff back into the box so I don't lose it, but I am going to go in here and grab the crochet hook. Okay, it's looking like you're using a 2.5 millimeter hook. That's pretty much the same size, I feel, that this company uses. Alright, so we are going to start with yellow, and we're going to be working the head and the shirt. So we're going to start with the yellow. Everything is just falling all over here. And this is a ball. What I like to do is trying to find the inside, but I think, oh, maybe we can find the inside here. So it does have two ends where they put it on a little poker thing, and that's where they start raveling the yarn into a spool. What you want to do is not use the yarn on the outside because it's just going to roll around. So I have to make sure I find the yarn on the inside. Now sometimes they tuck away the outside end. See, and I just found it here. We're not going to use this one because if you pull on this, your ball's going to roll around everywhere, and I like to keep it still. So go into this one end and try to find the other, and sometimes it'll be right there. See how I just found this? I got lucky. That usually doesn't happen, but if you can't find it, go in there, grab in a strand, and pull it out. You might pull out a huge chunk, a small chunk, but as long as you get the end with it, that's okay. Because even if I had a huge clump, that's okay. I can untangle that and get this end and start using it up till it's all used up. And then all you have left is the feeder yarn to pull from the inside and see how it's not rolling around. I am putting a little bit of my hand weight here because if I pull it, it's just going to pull along with it. But yeah, so all you need from this point is a paperweight or something. I'm using a lamp. Like I have this little tiny lamp thing, and hopefully that holds because this is a very big ball of yarn. But it makes sense because we're making a huge head of Winnie the Pooh. Alright, so let's start this off. Let's learn how to do a magic ring. So what you have to do, and this is for righties, what you have to do is we're going to wrap the yarn around this finger. So wrap it around 3 times. 1, 2, and then 3. You want to have a little bit of the yarn over your index so that we can take our middle finger and just hold it down. And then from here you can situate your strands, make them straight, make them loose or tight as you see fit. But we're going to take our crochet hook and stick it under the 3 strands. So at least make it loose enough to fit your hook underneath. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then what we're going to do is pull the hook back. We're going to hook this strand and pull under these 2. So hook it, turn the hook so you don't hook the other ones, and slide it underneath the other 2. Like that. Okay. So then from this point we're going to do a yarn over, and a yarn over is basically putting the yarn over the hook. So I'm going to put that yarn over the hook, and then I'm going to pull this yarn over through this loop. So you can turn your hook to the side so you don't hook the other loop, but slip it through, and that is that. Okay. Then we're going to let go of a middle finger and then slip the rings off your index. Now, if you need to slow down or speed up this video, you can click on the gear button in the corner. There's playback options to go fast or slow. If you don't need to hear me talk, you can lower the volume on your device and click on the CC button. If you want a quick go-to for a part of the video you want to see, go into the description box. I divided this video into chapters, and all you have to do is click on the timestamp and it'll take you right to it. Alright, so now that we've learned how to do the magic ring, we're going to learn how to do single crochet stitches. So what you're going to do is we're going to stick our needle through these 2 loops. We're going to yarn over, putting the yarn over the hook, and we're going to pull that through the loops like that. So now we have 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over again, and we're going to pull through those 2 loops. 1, 2, and that is a single crochet stitch. So you see it looks like there's a braid on top there. There's 2 loops on the bottom here. Alright, so let's do another one. Stick your hook into the magic rings here. Then we're going to yarn over, putting the yarn over the hook. And then we're going to pull the yarn over through the rings like that. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over again, and you're going to pull through these 2 loops. 1, 2. So here is another single crochet stitch We have a front loop, back loop. Top view, it looks like a braid, and it's right next to that other one, so it definitely looks like a braid. And then looking at the front view, there's these two loops at the bottom there. All right, so let's do this one more time. So stick your hook into the magic rings. We're going to yarn over, putting the yarn over the hook, and then we're going to pull the yarn over through the magic rings. So now you have two loops on your hook. Then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through those two loops. All right. So now that I've done the single crochet stitch 3 times step by step, you can go and rewind this video as many times as you need until you're comfortable doing the single crochet stitch on your own. I'm going to go ahead and finish the remaining single crochet stitches, and then I'll show you what to do next. Alright, so once you have your single crochet stitches in your ring, they call it a magic ring because this is going to go from a large hole to no hole. It's going to disappear. So overhand your hook like this. We're going to take our thumb and index and just gently hold the bottom stitches there. I'm going to let go of my feeder yarn, get that out of the way. What we're focusing on are these two loops that make the magic ring. We have to close this up, and you can pull this right away. It's going to bunch, and then you're going to get some leftover yarn flapping about, and it's not going to look nice. So what I'm going to do, we're going to pull this end piece just a little bit. Again, hold this gently. If you hold it too tight, you're not going to be able to pull it. But pull on this, and then watch to see which loop goes inside first. So pulling. And then you can see that back loop going in. Stop pulling. What we're going to do next is you're going to take that loop and we're going to pull out the lower end. Not the one up here, the one down here. So go and pull this, and you're going to see the other loop go inside. Okay. Keep pulling till it's all the way through. And then now you can pull the end piece here and pull that, and then the other loop is going to start to disappear. All right, once it's all the way in, just to make sure that this center is really closed, you can pull in the opposite direction and a little up. You're going to feel it move just a little bit. You don't have to pull real hard, but that's going to close that hole entirely. So that's done. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to take a stitch marker, and they don't provide you this, I don't think, but these are things that you really need to get. They don't explain this to you for beginners because even advanced people have stitch markers as well. This is going to keep you from losing your mind after you're doing round, 28, and then you lose track of how many rounds you've done. So get these stitch markers. I do have an Amazon storefront. You can go click on that and check out some of the stores I pinned where you can get these. I have not personally shopped there, but I picked the high star rating ones, and they do have stitch markers. You can either do that or search for stitch markers on your own. You can go to a hobby store and get it there, and they may have it at Walmart. I'm not sure because I know Walmart has a craft section. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to mark the last stitch that we made so that we can keep track of what row we're on, and it's going to be more important down the road, and I'll show you why later. But take it, we're going to poke through the front and back loops just underneath that braid, so slip it under the first loop and the second loop that looks like a braid. Make sure you're not piercing through the yarn. So I'll pull it out. If it looks like a clean hole, then you've done it right. If it looks like you split it, just remove the stitch marker and do it again. We're going to close this up, and this is going to indicate that we're doing round 2 now. So another good reason why to have these stitch markers is because it's going to also tell you where you are with your stitches. As we get it into a bigger circle, there's so many stitches you can easily lose count, and all you have to do is count back from the stitch marker to where your hook is, and that will be the number of stitches you have. So for the second round, because we did a lot of tugging and pulling, the last single crochet stitch is going to be squished. So we have to count back the number of stitches that you needed for round 1 in order to find where to put your hook. So from the stitch marker, count back the number of stitches you need for round 1, and that's where you're going to put your hook. So see how it's kind of bent? Like this one is horizontal and this one is kind of perpendicular to it. We're going to stick our hook, and it might be hard, and this is the only time where it's going to be a little hard, especially if you pulled tightly. But you have to slip it underneath that front and back loop, just under that braid. And we're going to do our single crochet stitch, but we're actually going to learn how to do an increasing stitch. So to do an increasing stitch, we have to double our single crochet stitches in here. So what we're going to do is do 2 single crochet stitches in this one stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Then you're going to stick your hook back into that same stitch we just used, and we're going to do 1 more single crochet stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So you have 2 single crochet stitches coming out of this one stitch, and that's an increasing stitch. Let me show you how to do that again. So let's do another increasing stitch. Stick your hook into the next stitch here. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in this stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Then you're going to stick your hook back into that same stitch we just used. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So we finished another single increasing stitch. We have 2 single crochet stitches in this one stitch. Now let me show you how to do this one more time. Into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in this one stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Then take your hook and put it into the same stitch we just used. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, so we have 2 loops, and then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So now that I've shown you how to do an increasing stitch 3 times step by step, you can go ahead and repeat this part of the video as many times as you need until you're comfortable doing the increasing stitch on your own. But I'm going to go ahead and finish the number of increasing stitches needed for round 2. Alright, so once we've gotten to the stitch marker, again, it's placed at the last stitch that we made in round 1. So we know that we have the correct number of stitches, but just to make sure, and especially as a beginner, I would like for you to go and recount all the stitches in the second round to make sure you have the right number. Once you feel confident in what you're doing, maybe you wouldn't have to count, but it's in best practice to count every time. I mean, I personally don't. But take the stitch marker and we're going to replace it on the last stitch we made under the braid. Go through the front loop and the back loop. Pull it to check to see if you've split the yarn by accident. It's clear, so I didn't. So we can close this up and we're going to do round 3. All right. Now, if you have a bunch of these, you can afford to leave them on there. And that would definitely be helpful for a beginner or someone that knows they always stop a project, do things, and then come back. I have plenty of these, but I don't need to have every single one on there. It's when it starts repeating, for example, round 5 through 7, or from round 16, 17, that's only 2, but sometimes it gets a lot, and it's really hard to keep track of which round you're on. All right, but we're doing round 3. So let me actually explain something that I should have explained in the previous rounds. At the very end of these instructions, there's a bracket with numbers in it. So the numbers inside the bracket are indicating how many stitches you should have after each round. So if you count them and that number's not the same, there must have been something that was missed before you finished that round. So now for round 3, this time we have parentheses. So to read a parenthesis, basically you got to do whatever's inside the parenthesis, and it's going to tell you how many times to repeat it. Sometimes they spell out the word times, sometimes they put an asterisk, and this time they are using an X. So we're going to repeat this parenthesis X number of times that it says. So how to deal with this, because it can get a little overwhelming, what you can do is focus on the stitches in a section. They normally separate their sections with a comma. So let's focus on the first part, and it's pretty much saying single crochet stitches. And then after the comma, the next section, it's talking about increasing stitches. So just focus on one section, then the next section, and then we're just going to repeat that the number of times it tells us to. So that's how you read a parentheses. So I'm going to go ahead and do the increasing, the single crochet stitches and the increasing stitches. And so this time it's easy to see where you put your hook because nothing is, pulled or contorted. So we're just going to go along now and start completing this round. And once I complete the parenthesis, I'm going to let you know that now I have to repeat it again. So I did whatever's in the parenthesis, and we're going to just repeat it. So we can do that now. All right, and then we're going to repeat this, well, for you guys, for me telling you one more time, and then I'm just going to repeat it the remainder of times that they need us to repeat it. Okay, so I did at least 3 of them for you, or with you, and now I'm just going to finish the rest, because that's pretty much what they want you to do, repeat it all the way around. Now again, when you are done with this round, I highly recommend that you just count your stitches to make sure that you have the right count. And I'm actually going to count my stitches because with me stopping and talking, I just want to make sure that I didn't miss any of the stitches. Okay. But of course we are going to move our stitch marker as well. So go ahead and do that. And I'm sure that the count is right. So let me just count anyway. Okay. So once you made sure that you had the right number, we're going to do round 4. And the only difference between round 3 and round 4 is that they added an extra step in that parenthesis. So for this, we're going to do, it says single crochet stitches, increasing stitches, and single crochet stitches. And we're going to repeat that as many times as it tells us to. So again, I'm going to just go ahead and do this since I've already shown you how to read the parenthesis in the previous round. But you just focus on everything before the comma. just so that you don't get overwhelmed with all the steps. Just make sure, yep. And I'll probably count my stitches at the end of this round because this one was a little bit more involved, and I need to make sure that I have the right number of stitches. All right, I'm going to replace my stitch marker. Make sure I'm not piercing through anything. And I'm just going to count my stitches real quick. All right. So now this is where you're going to need more than one stitch marker, and this is where it's going to help you. So we're doing the same stitch over and over again for the next 3 rounds. This is going to indicate round 5. I'm going to get another stitch marker for round 6 and another stitch marker for round 7. Okay, and I always double count 5, 6, 7. Now, if I need to take a phone call, take a break, have dinner, whatever, I can stop what I'm doing, leave it, even if it's mid-round, because now I have the stitch marker here. I can count to see how many stitches I need to do. But if I complete a round and then I leave my project for a day, a month, a year, as long as I keep these 2 stitch markers right next to everything, I know that I have to do the same stitch this round and 2 more times. So that's why you need more of these. This is going to be very helpful because this is not that hard, at least the head part. I haven't looked at all the rest of the instructions. Is that it, really? Oh, there's another side. Well, some instructions have you do a lot of rows or a lot of rounds a lot of times, so that's when you're going to need it. And if you plan on doing other kits, it's always good to have on hand. All right, so for round 5 through 7, it's going to be the same stitch. So I'm going to actually do that in silence. And Alright, so I finished the rows that I needed to do. I'm going to take one of these stitch markers and just replace the last stitch that to the last stitch that I made, and I can remove the others since I'm done with that. This is going to indicate that I'm doing round 8 next. Now your project's going to naturally curl inward, which is normal. What you want to do though is flip this inside out because this is the wrong side. You have your magic ring extra piece here. I leave this intact because it can add to the stuffing. It's minimal, but sometimes they don't give you enough stuffing and a little bit always helps. But I'm just going to flip this inside out. So just invert this. So now we seemingly have a weird round top of the head, but I don't know, maybe this isn't the head? I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to round 8. Alright, so for round 8, we have something new that we're going to learn. It's an abbreviation, BLO, and BLO stands for back loop only. So when I was talking about these single crochet stitches, I mentioned that the braid has a front row and a back row. So the fact that we have this BLO in parentheses means we're going to be using the back loops only. So just like we talked about with the parentheses, let's focus on what's inside in sections. We have single crochet stitches and increasing stitches, and of course we're going to repeat this the number of times that it tells us to, and we're doing this all in the back loops only. So let me show you what that is. So in the next stitch, right, I'm going to do that first section of the parenthesis. So in the next stitch we're going to put in our hook, but instead of putting it under both, we're only going to put it under one in the back. So split the braid and stick your hook into that back loop only. So you see how we left this one in the front here by itself? This is back loop only. So let's do our single crochet stitches like we already learned how to do. And so once that is complete, you can see that it's pulling that back loop, and then this front loop is left alone. So let's do another one. Stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to split that braid and put your hook into the back loop only, and we're going to continue with our single crochet stitch. So now we have 2 of them, and you can see the 2 front loops are left alone. So let's do this one more time with you guys. So stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to split it and put our hook into the back loop only. Then we're going to do our single crochet stitch, and then you see that we have our 3 single crochet stitches in the back loop only, and then we have 3 front loops left alone. So now that I've shown you how to do stitches in the back loop only 3 times, step by step, you can go and rewind this video as many times as you need until you're comfortable doing back loop only by yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and finish this parenthesis, and then I'm going to repeat it the number of times that it tells us to. And now that we've completed that, I'm just going to replace this stitch marker under the last stitch we made. And then we're going to do round 9. So let's just jump ahead. All right, I'm going to do this with you up till round 11, just because I see some different things happening. But from there on after, it's pretty much the same. All right, let me just take a look at this. So for round 9, we're back to just having parentheses, and we're doing single crochet stitches, increasing stitches, and single crochet stitches again. So just follow the stitch count on that and repeat it the number of times it tells you. So this part I'm just gonna try to go through pretty quickly, and we can go back to the normal 2 loops. So in the next stitch, we're going to be putting it under both, not just the one, but both front and back loops. I might actually count the stitches on this one because this one is involved again, and I want to make sure I get the right stitch count. Okay. I'm going to replace the stitch marker, and then I'm just going to give it a quick count. Again, the number in the bracket is how many stitches you should have at the end of each round. Alright, and then once you've got that, we're going to do row 10. And so this time we have a combo. We have regular stitches to follow, and we'll just divide that up in sections again. Always take it in sections, so everything before the comma, so we don't get overwhelmed. But then further down the instruction, we have a parenthesis. So again, we're only going to repeat what's inside that parenthesis the number of times that it tells us to, and it looks like we're doing single crochet stitches and increasing stitches. And then we have one more section at the end, And then again, the brackets have the number of stitches we should have at the end of round 10. So this you kind of have to really pay attention to. If you lose count, you can always use your stitch marker to find out how many stitches you need to do left. So if you need to keep track of the number of times you repeat your parenthesis, you can use your stitch markers to go along the way. You don't necessarily need to just keep it at the first or at the last stitch of every round, you know what I mean? So alright. Then you can replace the stitch marker under the last stitch you made. And then we're going to do round 11. Oh, did I say we're going to do up till round? Yeah. Alright, so from 11 on, it's pretty much the same combinations of parentheses, single crochet stitches, just looking down the line, and then sections, parentheses. It's pretty much the same thing that we've been doing, just different stitch counts. If this is supposed to be the head, though, I have no idea what part of the head is this. This looks like a hat. But anyway, I'm going to do the rest in silence, and when we come back, I'm going to come back in round 23 where we learn how to do a decreasing stitch, because that is the new stitch of this group. So, in silence. So for round 23, we're going to learn a new stitch. We have the situation where we have a little section, a parenthesis, and then another section. So again, just break it down piece by piece, whatever is inside a comma, focus at that, like just one piece at a time. So let's get this started here. Alright, so let's learn how to do a decreasing stitch. To do a decreasing stitch, it's pretty much the opposite of an increasing stitch. So whereas in an increasing, we do two single crochet stitches, with a decreasing stitch, we take 2 single crochet stitches and turn it into 1. So take your hook, put it into the next stitch here. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops. Then you're going to stick your hook into the next stitch over, and then we're going to yarn over, you're going to pull up a loop, so we have 3 loops. And then you're going to yarn over one more time and pull through all 3 loops. So if you look closely, we took 2 stitches and made it into 1. So that's a decreasing stitch. Alright, so I'm going to complete the rest of this parenthesis, and then I'm going to show you how to do that, the decreasing stitch 2 more times. Alright. Okay, so to do a decreasing stitch, stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, then stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 3 loops, yarn over, and then pull through all 3 loops. Alright, and then I'll show you how to do it one more time. Alright, to do a decreasing stitch, stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops. Then stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 3 loops. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. So now that I've shown you how to do the decreasing stitch at least 3 times step by step, you can rewind this part of the video as many times as you need until you're comfortable doing a decreasing stitch on your own. But I'm going to go finish up this parenthesis and then pretty much finish up the row, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about the rest of the instructions. So now, since we've learned how to do the decreasing stitch and all the other tools and stitches to complete the previous rounds, I'm going to do round 24 through 30 in silence, and then we're going to come back in. We have to stuff, we have to put the magic eyes, we have to put the plastic eyes in. I still don't know like what part of this is the fit. Is this like the nose? Because there's a section for the nose, so very curious to find out what the heck is going on here. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to do this all in silence. Alright, so I finished around 30, and it says to stuff the head firmly and place plastic eyes on the desired position. Refer to box image for guidance. Adjust placement first and secure with fixators. Now my problem that I'm having right now is, what the heck is this? Like, is this the nose? Is this the tip of the head? Why is it so pointy? So it's just stuff like that that just makes me a little annoyed, because we did back loop only, which normally is to make things flat, like, I mean fold. So I guess maybe this is supposed to be a flat head. I don't know. Anyway, go grab your little pouch here, and we're gonna go fish for some eyeballs. And then this is probably going to be it for this video, because I'm probably like really over 2 hours. So this is the nose. This is not what we need. And then you want to make sure you got a backing for that. These are the two eyes, the backing, and we can put this stuff back into our pouch. It's always in good practice to put away the items you are not using, because it is so easy to get them dirty or to lose your items, and then, you know, what are you gonna do? All right, back into the box. So I wish it didn't say look at the box for placement. Some instructions will actually tell you what row to put it in. So I'm going to assume this is the top of the head, and my tip for you guys is to just look at the box and count from the top. Like, try to be like, oh, maybe there's, you know, 4 or 5 rounds before you can see the ones here. So let's say, for example, you know, it's starting from this fold. Let's assume that, right? So now we just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It looks like it's between 11 and 12. Is it right? I don't know, but we're gonna find out. So let's try starting from this back loop only, 12 stitches. I actually didn't do the last stitch, and I'm gonna show you why in the next video, because we are going to have to change to red. But just so that my crochet hook is not in my way, I'm gonna pull this out by a lot, exaggerated, so that I just don't lose the stitch. So the longer it is, the highly unlikely you're gonna pull it without noticing. So let's start counting. First, pick a nice side. Where we put our stitch markers, you could probably see a faint line going all the way down. So you might not want to use that side. I'm just going to use this side, and I'm going to count the 12 rows and see where we're at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the eyes would be about here. Let me just take a look at this box. Alright, so now what we can do, process of elimination, I'm going to count the rows underneath the eye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's add 2 more. Let's make it 12 as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is where I have a discrepancy. It looks like from the top it's here, from the bottom it's here. Well, if that's the case, just choose the middle row here, and that should be where you put your eyes. Now you go to the box and you have to find out how many stitches are in between the eyes. So we can count that maybe this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so let's just say there's 9 stitches between your eyes. So when you look at this front view, just find your middle, wherever that is, and then we're going to count 9 stitches. But let's see. Okay, so let's say this is my middle stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we are going to put our eye right here, and then we're going to put our other eye. Try to make sure that that is in the same row. Oh, I think I'm supposed to be up more. I think I put the other eye down a row, so we can just pop this up another row. But this is where the eye, I think, is supposed to be, and then I would just double check by checking out the photo. So if you think it looks pretty close, then lock it in. We're going to use our backing, so flip this upside down, hold where the 2 eyes are so you don't lose their spot. But see, now we have these 2 prongs here, and mind you, if you plan on giving this to a little one, be careful because they could choke on this stuff. But we're going to take the cup side and we're going to face it down towards the eyeball, and you're going to hear it or feel it click, and you just want to put it where, you know, as low as you can get it. And the same thing to the other eye. Okay, so now you have your eyes in. It says stuff the head, but you know what? I'm finding opportunity to put in the nose and the eyebrows. So in our next video, actually, before we move on to the shirt, we're just going to skip on over to do the nose, sew the eyebrows, and then we'll do the shirt, because another tip that I can offer is that while this is still open, it's very easy to go in there, put your knots, sew up some eyebrows. You know, when it's stuffed, it gets harder to tie a knot and then hide it into your project. So we went through 30 rounds of Winnie the Pooh head. Comment below, let me know what you think. Click that like button if you're excited to see the next videos, or click that like button if you are looking forward to making this on your own. But yeah, again, you guys, I am running a 2,000 subscriber giveaway. It ends the end of July 4th Eastern time. I'll be picking a winner July 5th on my birthday. You have to be a public subscriber, and in this video you have to enter the emoji of honey. I think I said honey in the beginning. So in every video since I've activated the giveaway, there's always a message from me telling you to put some sort of emoji in the video. So that equals to 1 entrant, and you don't need to keep watching every video to put the emoji. 1 is good enough. Alright, so enough of that spiel. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. This is Hooked on Needles and Crafts. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.